Hello, everyone, and happy Sunday. Do not judge me for playing Justin Timberlake. Had some nostalgia creep up on me today, and I just really wanted to listen to. I just wanted to listen to Justin Timberlake and NSYNC. I don't know why. I just did today, but do not judge me. If y'all heard the music I played regularly in my everyday life, y'all would laugh because it is a little corny. My music taste it's funny. It's either I have a lot of like hardcore hip hop. I love hip hop. So it's a lot of Black Thought, Griselda, Freddie Gibbs, Nas, and then 98 Degrees, Brownstone, NSYNC. Like it goes back and forth, but whatever. Anyway, hello everyone. Happy Easter Sunday. Happy Sunday in general. Cry Me a River is goated. Thank you, Nero. I knew I wasn't alone. Happy Sunday. I am Soleil. I am your weekly reader, mother of Vision of Dawn Tour, founder and facilitator of the Charm School Mentorship Program, and I'm also a dope bitch straight up out of Oakland. Hello. Thank you for joining me this week for the weekly energy reading. It is Easter. It is a holiday, so I don't know how many people are going to tune in tonight, but y'all know how I am about my schedule and keeping on my schedule. Also, I got to take these braids out. And I didn't want to. I want to do it tonight. I want to start tonight. I should have started days ago, but I want to make sure that I got on camera before my hair was half taken out. I really got to take my braids out because I have a braiding appointment next week, and I like to let my hair breathe. I actually like to let my hair breathe for a couple weeks in between appointments, but again, I've just lost track of time. So there was a part of me that really wanted to postpone this until tomorrow, but we're going to keep with the Sunday schedule. It's just what works for me best. If you are tuning in for the first... Hi, Trina. It's good to see you. Haven't seen you in a minute. Happy Easter to you as well. Hello, Sanidra. Hello, Aisha. Thank you all for joining on this Easter Sunday. If you are new, if this is your first time tuning in, I just want to say hello and thank you for joining us. Make sure you say hello in the chat. I like to say hi back to people. Like to make this as conversational as possible. And hit the scale emojis. The scale emojis give me energy. They let me know that you're here with me. They really sync to my energy. This is the weekly energy reading. I do these every Sunday, sometimes on Monday. And it's just our time to check in and see what's going on with the energy ahead of us. Hello, Pratal. Good to see you here. I'm not going to hold us up for too long. Again, I got to get to this hair tonight. So I'm going to... You actually caught me on time this time. You caught me on time when I'm late. I'm actually 5 minutes late, so which is not terrible. But for me, that feels like a big deal. I usually do it after the I'll do it now because I love this set. Let me do nail check. Can y'all see? My nail artist ate. She really did. I love them. And my favorite part, look at the thumbs. She did a sun on one thumb and a moon on the other. I love her. She is so amazing. Okay, enough about my nails. Let's go ahead and get into the general reading. We're going to start with the general. And then once I feel the energy around the general, I'll see where we want to go from there. Okay? Ancestors, angels, ascended masters, spirits that walk with me. My elevated ancestors. What wisdom do we as a collective need about the energy that lies ahead of us during the week of April 6th through the 12th? Who do we need to be and what do we need to see about ourselves, our habits, and our environment that will allow us to navigate the energy of the next 7 days? If there are any challenges, lessons, blessings, breakthroughs that lie ahead of us, give us wisdom and insight, illuminate our path so that we know how to best prepare and protect ourselves. Any wisdom shared is deeply appreciated. Kind of makes me think of Sailor Moon. Me too, me too. I love them. She's so dope. Like, I've had issues with nail artists here in Atlanta, and I've cycled through a couple of them, I'm not gonna lie. But she's been consistently dope. And the thing that I love about her and what helped me with this last set was sometimes I just have fatigue. Sometimes I don't even know what I want my nails to look like. I literally just was like, can you do evil eye nails? She was like, yeah, I got you. And so she just freestyled a whole set. And she doesn't charge $8,000, because that's the other thing. Sometimes nail artists in Atlanta, I had one guy that I'm never going back to again. I sent him a picture and he gave me some complete, just utter trash, complete basura, and charged me $250. I left crying. I was so mad. I cried that day because I never paid that much for nails. And then they were ugly. And then one of them broke a week later. Clarify. Seven of Swords. What wisdom does the Seven of Swords have for us this week? Any wisdom shared is deeply appreciated. Yeah. Some of us have some shadows we need to work on in terms of being alone or leaving people behind. If you don't let people go, especially people that are not on your wavelength, not in alignment with you, you won't clear the path to find the people who are in alignment with you. You won't clear the path to open up your divine community, right? And I think many of us are going to get some really, really clear insight around this week about what clinging to people who are out of alignment with us is costing us, right? So there are two messages here that are really important. The one that I just explained. Some of you are going to have to be comfortable with letting some people go in order to step into the future that you claim to want yourself. Because trying to cling people and force people into the kind of loving community and family that you want is only clogging up space and preventing you from attracting that energy. That's the first message. The second message in terms of how you get to that, and I've said this before, I think when people talk about things like boundary setting and being strict, they feel that they have to be mean about it, that they have to argue, that they have to beat their chest. No, sometimes it's just as simple as moving strategically. Sometimes it's just as simple as not telling everybody your business. Sometimes it's just as simple as doing the things you want to do by yourself, having small gatherings and not inviting everybody into your life. It doesn't have to be loud and performative. It just has to be strategic, right? Why is this coming up? We have the Ten of Cups, right? And I love this card because it's chosen family. It's collective community, the people that you build traditions with, the people you build memories with, right? I recently sat in on a class where somebody said, this is also the energy of wherever you go, there you are. And I love that interpretation. And what did he mean when he said, wherever you go, there you are? If you are a loving person and you are a person that values tradition and memory making, wherever you go, there you are. The experience of memory making and tradition building will be there wherever you are. I think a lot of times we cling to people because we have this fear that if we don't cling to those people, we won't have certain experiences. But the clinging to those people is what prevents us from having experiences that we want, right? Now, this is something that, even though we give him a hard time, this is something that the King of Swords understands very deeply and intimately. And that's why he doesn't let everybody have access to him. That's why, in that very Gemini way, he is on a cloud on his throne, right? Because if you don't have the same alignment, investment with him, vibration, mentality as him, he doesn't really have a whole lot of time for you, and he's not interested in begging you to catch up. He's not interested in explaining himself to you. It's very much like you have to match my vibration in order to be in my energy, in my club, right? You can move this way, and it often brings you to this much more quickly, right? But a lot of you guys don't understand that. And it's really important for you to start coming to terms with that now, because community isn't built overnight. King of Pentacles, right? Short-term sacrifices for long-term gain. Getting really, really honest with yourself about the nature of your sensuality. The king and the Queen of Pentacles both represent sensuality. And when I say sensuality, I'm not talking about sex, I'm talking about what makes your senses rise, what makes you feel comfortable. When you think about the life that you want to have in retirement, when you think about how you want to look back at your legacy and be proud of it, right? What really arouses your memories and makes you happy. That is something that the King of Pentacles is aware of. And he's willing to make sacrifices in the present if he knows it's going to bring him the comfort and the stability and the prideful legacy that he wants to have in the future, right? So this whole first row to me is saying, a lot of us who are watching either live or in the replay really long to have collective community that we celebrate with, that celebrates us, that we build memories with. And the way that we get it is by not just being selective, because it's not as simple as the King of Swords being selective. He also knows himself, right? And that knowledge of what he's willing to tolerate, what makes him happy, what makes him feel aligned, his desire to protect it is something he's not willing to compromise. So yes, he wants this just as much as anybody else, but he's also not going to waste time trying to train other people into understanding what that looks like for him. He's just going to get in alignment with the people who know already and who have similar investments and develop strategy to create that with them. And he's, along with the King of Pentacles energy, is willing to sacrifice in the present moment if he knows that it will bring him to the certainty of that comfort and stability within his community. Why is this coming up? Because there are too many of us watching either live or in the replay who are on a tightrope about this. And what do I mean when I say we're on a tightrope about this? 1 foot in, 1 foot out, right? 2 of Pentacles, we're trying to hold 2 worlds. We're trying to hold the old world that we know we need to leave behind because we're afraid of leaving other people behind. And we're trying to tiptoe into the new life experience that we want to have. That tightrope, that dance of trying to have it both ways. And here's the thing, that's not going to work out for you. It's only going to leave you burnt out and stressed, right? It also puts you in a position where a lot of people have access to you in ways where they get to manipulate you and gaslight you and bring a lot of confusion into your life, right? When the Seven of Swords comes up, it's a warning to let you know that somebody's playing in your face. They're saying one thing in your face, they're acting another way behind your back. Or even worse, they are being hot cold with you, right? And the answer of how we deal with Seven of Swords energy that enters into our life, excuse me, somebody don't want me to say this message. That's the second time that's happened today. I did a reading for someone earlier today, and literally their spirits were making that person shut down because they didn't want to be revealed. Not their spirits, but the spirit that's trying to attack them. My clairsentience works in a really interesting way. The way we deal with Seven of Swords energy is that when it's revealed that somebody's playing with us, that they are trying to steal our joy, that they're trying to manipulate us, it's not to waste our time trying to explain to them, right? Because over-explaining is a form of begging. The way we deal with them is by getting strategic in our lives. Stop telling them all your business. Stop reaching out to them all the time. Move with discernment, right? Give yourself permission to be a little bit more stealthy. Some of you all don't want to do this because it's related to a shadow issue, moon card, right? And that comes back to that, what I was saying about the over-explaining. Some of you guys, as a shadow response, you over-explain way too much and you're way too used to begging for the wrong people to be in your life and be in your energy. And this is a behavior and a pattern that you got to confront now because the wheel is about to turn in your favor. You're about to have a lot of favorable people come into your life. A lot of support is about to show up for you, especially if you've been a person that's been trying to manifest a new community, or if you're a person that is making a move into a new community or environment, right? These patterns and these behaviors can't follow you where you're going, right? And that's why we end with the Ten of Swords. A lot of what I'm saying right now, everybody who's watching this either live or on the replay, you know that. I didn't tell you anything you didn't already know about your own lived experience. You've known for a while that you had this deep, almost nostalgic desire to have beautiful experiences within a community and build traditions. And you've known that you've been trying to force that with people who either don't want that, period, or who don't think like you. And that in order for you to have that, you have to get over yourself enough to make the sacrifice in this moment in order to clear the space to call that in. You already knew this shit. I'm not telling you nothing you didn't already know. And that's why the Ten of Swords is the final card. Are you going to continue to numb yourself and ignore the hard work you need to do? Or are you going to let yourself have the painful moment of doing the hard work, right? It's hard either way. Loneliness is hard. Building a new community is hard. So choose your hard. Being constantly rejected by people who don't know how to receive your love and who are invested in misunderstanding you when you over-explain yourself is hard. Having that hermit moment where you pull back and invest in yourself and get clear about yourself so that you can have the discernment to only fuck with people who fuck with you is also hard. So which one are you going to choose, right? I actually think this is a powerful Easter message. We have to get really, really clear about what we want and be real with ourselves about who we need to be and what we need to do to get it. And a lot of times we're so afraid of being seen as unapproachable when you really shouldn't be approachable. And you're not going to get what you want by being overly accessible and overly approachable. In fact, being overly accessible and overly approachable is part of the reason why you don't have what you want. when it comes to a quality community. Okay? That is the general reading. I hope that that resonates with you and that it fell on the ears of whoever needs to hear it. Spirit wants me to go to money next. So I'm going to go to money next. I'm going to do money, then health, then love. Ancestors, angels, ascended master spirits will walk with me. My elevated ancestors. What wisdom do we as a collective need about money, finances, the flow of money, resources, and abundance in our life over the next 7 days? Who do we need to be and what do we need to see about ourselves, our habits, and our environments that will allow us to be aligned with the energy of financial expansion, growth, and stability? If there are any habits or ways of being that we need to release, sustain, or increase that will bring an energy of protection and expansion to our finances, reveal that in this reading now so that we know how to best navigate the next 7 to 10 days. Any wisdom shared is deeply appreciated. Lava Lynn said, damn, I just got here. Chill. I assume that means that you needed to hear part of that message. Beware of smooth talkers this week. This is actually a really good financial week. And the reason why I'm saying beware of smooth talkers is because you know what you need to do. You actually have a really clear path of what you need to do in order to be where you want to be financially before summer rolls around. And it's a matter of taking those big goals and big visions and putting action behind them. Some of you all have also done a lot of work spiritually. You've either participated in recent rounds of Rich Spirit, or you're going to sign up for the round in May, or you've just been doing spiritual work on your own. Like, your spiritual hygiene is really, really good in terms of having your own practices, to call in opportunity, praying and working with your ancestors in order to make sure that you have discernment and that you have the wisdom to move wisely with those opportunities. The only way that it can be thrown off this week is if you let somebody get into your head and play with your emotions. 7 of Cups, please. Ancestors, clarify the 7 of Cups. I'm just clarifying one card, and then I'll go through them each individually in just a second. So again, don't let anybody get in your head. And then also, so this is the second time this conversation about over-explaining has come up, right? If somebody says something and it makes you feel financially insecure or weird, know that they're doing it on purpose. They're doing that shit on purpose, and don't fall for it. Don't over-explain. Don't put anybody in your financial business that doesn't need to be there, okay? We have the very first card, the Strength card. A lot of you all are doing the things you know you need to do, even if you're a little scared, even if you're a little uncertain. You are standing in your courage and learning to trust yourself and doing the things you know you need to do, not the things you necessarily want to do. I think this is a really, really good energy for many of us who are trying to make change. And I'm using us and I'm using collective language because this is a collective reading. Some of you guys may be thinking, this doesn't apply to me. This is a general reading. It's not an individual reading. If you want an individual reading, book an individual reading. But if you are one of those, I've had to delete, indulge me on this tangent before. And I know that these are trolls that are coming from a very particular environment. I've had to delete comments from assholes that come through and watch my reading and go, this doesn't apply to me at all. Bitch, it's a collective reading. You take what resonates and you leave what doesn't. If you want an individual reading, book an individual reading. You don't even have to book one with me. Go find somebody that you want to get a reading from, weirdo. But a collective reading is a collective reading. Every single element of it is not going to apply to you. Sorry, just needed to say that because stuff like that annoys me. Anyway, those of us who have sense are doing the things we know we need to do, right? Even if it scares us a little bit, we are meeting our challenges head on, right? So we're not avoiding the responsibility. We're not avoiding the things we know we need to do. We are meeting our challenges head on. And that is a really good, positive energy in terms of our financial life. We are very, very clear about the goals and the ambitions we have, and we're very passionate about rooting those things in reality, making them real for ourselves, right? A lot of what some of us want for our financial health, wealth, and life, they're not just going to be in the imagination very soon, right? It starts in the imagination because the Page of Wands is the card of the imagination. But we're also figuring out how to make these new things a part of our life, right? I see some people who are going to be, instead of fantasizing about stocks, you actually buy some this week, right? Instead of saying you're going to take that trading class, you actually sign up for it this week. So this Page of Wands is coming after the Strength card to talk about the fact that instead of the things you need to do being fantasy, they actually start to get rooted in reality this week. So that's really, really good for us. We then have the High Priestess. This is a result of spiritual work, right? And when I say spiritual work, spiritual work is more than spell work. Your prayers are spiritual work. Journaling is spiritual work. Going back and looking at your journal and holding yourself accountable to the things you need to do, that is spiritual work and personal development, right? So again, this bravery, along with the action that takes ideas, fantasy, and imagination from the realm of the mind into reality, is a result of your spiritual work, your prayers, your meditation, your spiritual discipline, and your ability to listen to spirit when they tell you to go. Great energy, good news. This is a week where you got to make sure that you are not listening to other people, because there are folks around you. Everybody don't want to see everybody else win financially. And that doesn't feel good to say. But there are people who are comfortable with you being stable. They don't necessarily want to see you do better than them, right? So there are going to be people that come along to trigger your emotions and bring you confusion on purpose, right? Should you really sign up for that trading class right now? Do you really think that that's time for you to do that, right? You have bills you need to take care of. Why would you buy stocks right now, right? There are going to be people, 8 of Wands over the 7 of Cups, that come through really, really quickly and overwhelm you with a whole bunch of opportunity and distraction, because 8 of Wands can be distraction, in order to bring emotional confusion into your life. And they're doing it on purpose. You may not want to believe that they are, because we want to see the good in people, but folks know what they're doing. Most people are intelligent beings and they know what their actions are causing. Don't listen to that shit. Don't get distracted. It will only cause you heartbreak. Yes, heartbreak meant for your maturation, but heartbreak that can be avoided. This is your financial health, right? This is your money that you are responsible for. You don't need confirmation from other people. You don't need validation from other people. You're grown. You don't need somebody to tell you what you should be doing. You need to trust yourself. The only way that you will end up confronting emotional confusion around your financial decisions this week is if you allow somebody to distract you, and it'll cause you pain and heartbreak in the long run, right? A lot of the financial decisions that you're going to be making this week, I was about to say this month. So this, even though this is a weekly reading, this information will benefit some of you guys later in the month as well. But a lot of the financial decisions you make this week are setting you up so that you can have good work-life balance, right? There are quite a few of you who are overworked. And the Queen of Pentacles is coming up to say that you don't have to move that way. You don't have to live that way anymore, right? Because Queen of Pentacles, being the card of the working mother, represents somebody that has healthy work-life balance, right? She can be there for her family. She can be there for her community. But she also is known as a boss bitch and somebody who has a really good career at the same time, right? The other message in her, and I'm certain that there's at least 3 people that need to hear this. The other message in her is saying that you're actually not going to have the clarity to avoid having this 7 of Cups moment if you don't slow down and start taking better physical care of yourself, right? A part of the reason why it's easy for people to distract you around financial decisions, particularly financial commitments, right? Rope you into loaning the money to them that you really don't have to loan to them. Rope you into committing financially to some fucking pyramid or whatever, some weird gambling bullshit that you really don't want to be involved in, is because you're overworked, right? And you are tapped out of what, again, this is the sensuality I talk about with the Queen and the King, right? King and the Queen of Pentacles, it's awareness of their body. It's awareness of their needs. And some of you are so out of awareness with your emotional needs and safety when it comes to your body. You're not eating right. You're not sleeping enough. You're literally not taking care of yourself. So that when somebody comes along and says something weird or off to you, or distracts you with an opportunity that you don't even need to be paying attention to you, of course it's easy for them to game you. And then the next thing you know, you done loan somebody $500 that you're never going to get back, right? These are things to pay attention to. And that's why the Queen of Pentacles is coming up. I know that's very specific, but somebody needed to hear that. But overall, another thing is the financial decisions that you're making this week are setting you up so that you don't have to be overworked and you don't have to be emotionally confused and you don't have to be in this space of feeling like the only way that your finances are okay is if you work 80 hours a week, because it's not sustainable, right? But we end with the Page of Swords under the High Priestess. Going back to what I said earlier, stop talking to everybody about your money. Stop telling everybody about your finances, right? The Page of Swords is the honor student. They're very smart. They know what they're doing. Their lesson is to learn to trust their own intelligence as opposed to looking for validation outside of themselves from other people all the time, right? If you know that you want to invest in those stocks and you have researched them well enough, go ahead and take the leap and do it. It's only if, again, 7 of Cups, that with the 8 of Wands, if you let somebody distract you with fear, concern, triggering your emotion, that you'll end up regretting not doing it later. Your responsibility this week when it comes to your money is to trust that you've picked up enough wisdom to know what to do, to have, going back to that Strength card, have the courage to do the things that you know you need to do instead of waiting for somebody to give you a gold star, waiting for somebody to give you a pat on the head, because desiring that is only going to put you in a position where you can get worked over and confused and missed out on the opportunity. Okay? That is the money reading for this week. Let's do health and wellness. Ancestors, angels, ascended masters, spirits that walk with me, my elevated ancestors. What wisdom do we as a collective need at this time about our mental, physical, and spiritual health and wellness this week? Who do we need to be and what do we need to see about ourselves, our habits, and our environment that will allow us to make the best decisions around taking care of our mind, body, and soul? What are the habits, ways of being that we need to release, increase, or sustain in order to have good health, holistic health? Any wisdom shared is deeply appreciated. What I missed? Girl, I don't know what you missed, Vital. I have no idea. I have no idea what you missed. I don't even know what you're talking about. Some of you are oversleeping because you're depressed, and you're depressed because you're either indulging in your, no, not either. You're indulging in your vices too much. Clarify the devil. Give us wisdom about the devil card. There's eating and drinking too much. Not really seeing marijuana. Clarify the devil. Yeah, Knight of Cups over the devil. Drinking too much. Page of Cups and the Knight of Cups over the devil. Escapism through alcohol in particular. Some of you guys may be in partnership, Knight of Cups, with people who are sipping a little too much. And because of the overwork and busyness, like the nighttime drink is the only way that you can, you know, the only time that you guys have to connect, right? And it also could be why your sleep patterns are fucked up, because alcohol does fuck up sleep patterns. And the Four of Swords is speaking to issues and disruption with sleep. But I also get with the Four of Swords being over the Three of Swords, some of you all are oversleeping due to depression, and that depression is linked to drinking a little too much. I've been saying for a couple weeks now that there are some of you all who are watching, either live or in a replay, that need to take a little bit of break from alcohol. I would really love it if those of you who have had that message on your heart but haven't taken it seriously would consider taking it seriously this week, right? There's a need to be in movement, to be present, not just in terms of physical energy. And the Knight of Wands is a card that is saying you need to pick up your physical energy. You need to go, you need to move more. But it's also saying that some of you guys are having a hard time being present, right? Because the Knight of Wands it's Aries energy. It's the initiator. It's somebody who's in the present moment, who's really, really capable of having fun. But a lot of you guys aren't able to do this because you're not sleeping enough. Four of Swords in reverse. Your energy is extremely low. Your sleep is very taxed and out of order, and it's not good. Your body's not resting and recovering and recuperating. And again, that has to do with the devil card, addiction and vices. Some of you guys, it's overeating, but the majority, it is alcohol. You are using alcohol, and it could be pills, to be honest. I hate to put y'all out there like that, but the Page of Cups is coming up to say some of you guys are relying on a substance for escapism, right? The Page as well as the Knight of Cups can represent drunkenness. Knight of Cups and the Page of Cups are clarifying the devil card. So again, if you didn't participate in Dry January, if you know that things have been going on where you are sipping a little bit more than normal, try to take a little bit of a fast, right? And here's the thing, do what you can. If you can only do a 3-day fast, great. That's better than nothing. If you can only do a 7-day, awesome. If you can only do 21 days, that's dope too. But it's time to go ahead and separate, because it's spiraling into a negative attachment. It's no longer just something that you're doing to, unwind at this point. It's developing into a negative attachment. All of this is over the Three of Swords. Here's the thing. You're going to fuck around and cuss somebody out that you love. You're going to fuck around and have a drink before you go to work. You're going to do something that results in a heartbreak. So that's part of the reason why Spirit has been bringing up that you need to take a fast from your vices, right? Because now, again, another thing that the Page of Cups represents, not only does it represent escapism, that Pisces energy, it represents secrecy. So part of what's going on, and again, some of you guys, it may not be alcohol. It could be marijuana. It could be overeating. Whatever the thing is, the escapism and the numbing that you're using this for, you're doing it in secrecy. But part of what happens with the Three of Swords and the heartbreak nature of the Three of Swords, especially with it being here with the Nine of Cups, is that this thing that you do alone as an act of pleasure is going to make its way public in a way that breaks your heart, right? So get a handle on this shit now, so that it doesn't turn into something that spills into another environment where you can't get a hold on it, right? We have the Page of Swords. So earlier in the last reading, I talked about the Page of Swords in terms of external validation, but this time the Page of Swords is coming up to say, you are used to being the honor student. You were used to having all the answers, but sometimes you got to go ahead and check in with the teacher. You got to go ahead and get some help, right? In the Millennial Tarot, the Page of Swords is represented as the teletherapist, right? And I love that representation because what brings us to therapy? We realize like we're capable people, we're smart people, but I'm having some issues that I can't figure out by myself, right? And that's the nature of the Page of Swords. It's understanding like, yes, I'm smart, but sometimes I got to get help from somebody because instead of using my swords to heal, I'm using my swords to harm, right? What does that have to do with health? Some of you all are very, very exhausted. And whether you are the person that's oversleeping because you're depressed, or you're the person who is hiding behind substances and you're telling yourself it doesn't matter that I smoked 2 blunts today. It doesn't matter that I have a drink every single night. It doesn't matter that I've had 3 servings at dinner or whatever the indulgence is, right? It's a numbing and it's not healthy, and it's going to spiral into the rest of your life in a way that's not good. So rather than acting like it's not that big of a deal because it's not other people's business or they can't see it, go ahead and get some help. Get some help. Whether it's you're oversleeping due to depression or you are overindulging in your vices, there is a need for action. Knight of Wands. Again, action. Being in action. Going after the help that you need. Admitting that even though you're smart, you don't have all the answers. And it's okay to not have all the answers. And that you should probably get some help, right? That's what's necessary so that you can, 9 of Pentacles, have a long life. 9 of Pentacles is literally the card of good health and a long life, right? It is somebody who is able to live independently. And that's another reason why this conversation around the vices is coming up. Indulging in these substances in order to make it through the day or to numb whatever difficulty you're dealing with, that's fine now in this moment. But what happens later in life when you have dementia? What happens later in life when you have the shakes, right? There's a lot that can happen as a result of not getting a hold of these things now. I didn't expect for the health reading to go heavy. And again, if this resonates with you, please listen and heed the advice. If it doesn't resonate with you, like I said earlier, these are collective readings. Pick up what resonates, leave behind what doesn't. And leave it behind because it may be a message that somebody else needs. So don't judge it, just leave it where it is, right? But that is the general reading around health and wellness for this week. We're going to wrap up with love, and then I'll take questions from the audience if anyone has any for me, okay? Ancestors, angels, ascended masters, spirits who walk with me, my elevated ancestors. What wisdom do we as a collective need at this time about love, romance, and matters of the heart as we go into the week of March 6th through the 12th? Who do we need to be and what do we need to see about ourselves, our habits, and our environments that will allow us to have the experiences of love and be loved by those we want to experience love from and connect with? If there are any blessings, lessons, breakthroughs, or challenges in this area of life, illuminate them now so that we know how to best protect and prepare ourselves over the next 7 to 10 days. Any wisdom shared is deeply appreciated. Very true. Very true. Sanidra says very true. Y'all are a little quiet today. Please continue to leave comments. I appreciate the scale emojis, but I love your comments. I like and appreciate your comments tremendously. So please leave more. Okay? Y'all not gonna like this. You're not gonna like this at all. But I'm gonna say it because I have to be accountable to spirit. Clarify the Nine of Wands. What do we need to know about the Nine of Wands? Your relationship past is your past. And the more you sit around with the bitches in your life and complain about your relationship past, the more likely you are doomed to repeat it. So if you're tired of having the same experiences of love, specifically if you've had a lot of letdown, if you date the same kind of person over and over again, you got to get honest about you, and you got to have the discipline to change things within you so that you don't attract those things over and over again. And a huge part of the reason why you are attracting those things over and over again is because instead of exercising discipline, both emotional discipline and just literal discipline in terms of your habits and being aware of how you move about life and through your dating experiences, you want to sit around and complain. You want to sit around and commiserate. You want to sit around and gossip about yourself and the people you've dated, or compare your life experiences to other people in your social circle, because that makes you feel like it's not as bad as it could be. All that energy that you spend talking and complaining and judging and gossiping can be put into discipline that allows you to not only heal your heart so that you can believe and trust in love a little bit more, but it'll also show up in terms of discipline and changed action that won't even allow. I say this to people all the time. Part of the reason why I know that I've changed is because the men who used to approach me a lot, especially when I was in my early 30s, they know better now. They know better. And I don't even see it for them. When your romantic tastes change, you know that you spiritually and mentally have made some shifts. And some of you guys aren't willing to have that shift because you don't know how to be honest with yourself about it, right? King of Swords, high standards, unapologetic about the high standards, only willing to be in community with other people who have set high standards, right? Honest to a fault, critical about what they want and what they see, even within themselves. Pay attention to that last part, even within themselves. See, some of you all have gotten really good about being critical and what's wrong with other people. And then you fall short when it comes time to talk about you and your habits and what you need to do and change. Okay? But you're never going to have the discipline. Hierophant, Taurus energy. You're never going to have the discipline to change your actions, right? And develop routines that match what you want and help you call in what you want until you get real about your own deficits and the cycles that you continue to repeat, right? Because you are not being critical of your own behavior, but you're hyper-critiquing everyone else, it's causing you to be emotionally embittered. Queen of Swords, right? So you're closed off, you're mean, you're gossipy. Those are all things that happen with a debilitated Queen of Swords, right? Instead of using her heartbreak or her difficulty to turn it into wisdom that teaches her how to move differently and how to protect her emotions, She just becomes embittered. She becomes judgy. She becomes gossipy. She talks about everybody all day long. And she sits around with other people who only want to talk bad about other people, who want to engage in comparison, right? That's not helping you. Commiserating, and I have this conversation often with people that I do love readings for. Commiserating with other people who are dissatisfied with their love life may feel good in that moment because misery loves company, but you are never going to move forward and see change by sitting around and being bitter Bettys with other bitter Bettys. So think about the love conversations you have in community with people, and how does that feed a dynamic that just brings you closer to bitterness, right? It's not helping you. It's not helping you. In fact, all it's doing is creating wounded warrior energy within you, where you're having the same heartbreaks over and over again. And instead of being able to get off of to get off of the hamster wheel and be like, I don't want to do this anymore, you just sit around with the bitches you gossip with, right? And congratulate yourself on your resilience. Like, ooh, girl, I survived it again. But why do you keep surviving it? Why do you keep letting yourself have the same wound? When are you going to get tired of letting the same fire burn your hand over and over again, right? Get tired enough to move in action and to move towards something different, right? This is also a warning because part of the reason why you end up here is due to the impulsivity, right? So be careful. Yes, be in action, be passionate about movement, but also try to temper the impulsivity because that's what's causing it a lot. Some of you guys need to take control. Magician, understand how powerful you are, and that's why you're being told to stop blaming everybody else. Again, taking responsibility for who you are, who you let have access to you. But you got to exercise some personal power when it comes to love and romance. A lot of what I'm seeing in this spread is that there are some of you all watching either now or in the replay who act like your love life is a thing that's happening to you. You act like your relationships are a thing that happened to you. And the reason why you haven't stood in the discipline that's necessary to change the dynamic is because it allows you to sit around with people and have these shallow conversations. There's a weird dopamine hit that you get from it, right? You got to pull yourself off of that hamster wheel. And once you pull yourself off of that hamster wheel, and you can act like you have some sort of power over your own life, that power fueled by discernment as well as discipline, you'll have a different experience, and you'll be able to call in reciprocal love. You'll be able to call in love that nurtures you and allows you to also show up in your nurturing, authentic self, as opposed to having these relationships where you just live the same wound over and over again, have the same painful conversations over and over again that feed emotional embitterness, okay? IDK, if I'm more receptive to guidance advice because these messages feel more honest than harsh. You know, that's just, I love that you're saying that, Sylvia, because I think that they are just honest as well. But I think sometimes when people don't want to hear the truth, right? I've had to learn this the hard way as a priestess, as somebody who's been doing this work professionally for a long time. The reality is that there are people that come to get readings because they want to change. And then there are people that come to get readings because they just want to be told that they're perfect. So anytime you say something that's not in alignment with what they want to hear, they're going to say that it's harsh or that it's mean, right? I think you are a person that actually wants to heal and wants to be better. And I think majority of the people that tune in want to do better. But then occasionally there's always going to be that one person that's like, well, what you're saying is mean. No, it's just real. It's just honest. So thank you for pointing that out. But that is the love reading for the week. Questions from the audience. We're now at the point where I take questions from the audience. So if there is anyone that would like for me to answer a question, go ahead and put your question in the comments section. You can send your love offering to my Cash App or my PayPal, both of which are scrolling below. As you are sending in your questions, I will update you on some of the things that I'm working on. We have our next class from my Patreon on Thursday. I'm going to be teaching you all how to deepen and sharpen your intuition in tarot, as well as giving you some tips and tricks that you can use to strengthen your relationship with your decks. So that is going to be the class for Patreon on Tuesday. If you are not already a member of my Patreon, go ahead and sign up. Everybody who signs up for a paid membership gets access to the live classes. Everyone who signs up for Friendship Circle or higher gets access to the replays, okay? The Easter sale is going to continue until Tuesday night. So if you would like to book a private reading with me, you can do so by going to my website, soleilconjureshop.com, using the code BLOOM at checkout, BLOOM, and that will allow you to get 25% off of any service, any order that's over $65. Next round of Rich Spirit will be taking place May 4th through the 7th. Deadline to sign up is May 2nd. If you're interested in joining us for Rich Spirit, click the link below in the description, and that way you can join the group and learn a few more details about just when the ritual starts, what's required, etc., etc. What else? I have 2 readings that are on special for this month of April. Natal charts are on sale for discount, as well as shadow work consultations are on discount for the whole month of April. So if you've not had either of those and are interested in getting either one, go ahead and, you can book those with me at a discounted price for the month of April. I don't see anybody who sent a love offering, so I'm going to assume that no one wants a reading this week, which is totally fine. I'm just going to go ahead and wrap up for the night. I will be back on Thursday for Astral Hour. That is my bi-weekly segment where I give insight into what's going on with the stars, how we prepare for that. Hey, Nicole, good to see you. Thank you for joining. But I hope you guys enjoyed the live. Again, no one's asking for a reading, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap up for the evening. But if you do want to book a one-on-one reading with me, the Easter sale will continue until Tuesday night. So you have 2 more days to take advantage of that discount code. I'll see you guys Thursday. Everybody have a great evening, and I will see you later. Bye.